Scott Simpson.
Mr Speaker, it's a great pleasure to rise in support of this omnibus bill which has been presented to the House tonight, and to hear a number of interesting speeches from members from all sides of the House, some more enlightened than others. The Honourable Member Ruth Dyson, who has just resumed her seat, I can't help but just point out to her that she said in her speech that the Bunker Oil Convention was adopted in 2008. And, well, in fact, a quick check of the bill indicates that it was actually adopted in 2001, which would have given it, Mr Speaker, plenty of time for Labor to have enacted and taken some action on it should they have chosen during their 9 long years when they had the opportunity. But, sir, this is, as I said, an omnibus bill which amends the Maritime Transport Act. And it's important in my part of the world, Mr Speaker, because I represent the very fine electorate of Coromandel. And it was that some beaches in the Coromandel electorate where oil, noodles, the little plastic things, noodles as well, timber, milk powder and other assorted flotsam and jetsam, of course, washed up on our beaches from the Rena. And I don't think any of us, Mr Speaker, would deny for 1 minute that the Rena incident was anything other than a huge tragedy and an environmental blot. But ours was a government, Mr Speaker, that acted, I think, quickly, responsibly and with great efficiency. And I want to take this opportunity, Mr Speaker, at the introduction of this bill, to thank the citizens of Coromandel, the people, the volunteers, the services, the providers, the contractors, who assisted so nobly in the clean-up work. And they did it with great enthusiasm, not only because there was an immediate risk, but also because they have a long-term, heartfelt interest and passion in their local environment, their local area. And so this bill actually goes a long way to ensuring that environmental matters are taken care of. And that bunker oil provision is, in my view, extremely important. But I remember well, because at that stage when the Rena did go aground, I was but a mere hard-working candidate, and I can remember going down onto the beach at Waihi at one point and finding there people who had just met with a fellow who had come down from Auckland in his shiny shoes for a few minutes in a photo opportunity, and his name was Phil Goff. He was Shiny Shoe Phil. Shiny Shoe Phil. And at that point he was, of course, leader of the Labor Party, leader of the opposition. And what a lot happens in 12 months. What a lot happens in 12 months. Mr Speaker, I'd just like to go through for a minute or two and review a couple of the speeches that we've heard tonight. Of course, the Honourable Maurice Williamson introduced the legislation to the House on behalf of the Minister, Jerry Brownlee, and he gave, I thought, an excellent introduction. He set out all the relevant points about the bill, the fact that it was an omnibus bill, and then we had a very good and, I thought, quite well prepared and well considered presentation from Phil Twyford. And so I'd like to compliment Phil for that presentation, which I thought was a very useful contribution. David Bennett, of course, made his almost always succinct, topical and very presentable presentation. David Bennett is, of course, the chairman of the Select Committee, and he will be guiding this bill through the Select Committee process, and I'm looking forward to taking my position on that Select Committee and being very much part of that team. Grant Robinson made what could only be described as yet another leadership bid speech. It was powerful, it was compelling, it was probably the best speech that an aspiring Labor Party leader has made, certainly today, but probably in the most recent weeks. We'll see more of Grant Robinson's leadership speeches, I'm sure. And then we had Darren Hughes, Mr Speaker. Darren Hughes gave a speech, and it was the first time I've been aware. Sorry, Gareth. It was the other. He's gone, isn't he? That's the one. He was gone. It was Gareth, that's the one. And probably what got me interested in that, Mr Speaker, was that that's the first speech I've heard given where fracking wasn't mentioned. and that would have to be a first from that member in this House. And then we heard Jamie Lee Ross gave a very, very good presentation, made excellent points, and I'm surprised that members opposite have difficulty remembering the member for Botany's name, because his is a very, very good name and he's been doing a very good job. But the prize tonight, Mr Speaker, for the most bizarre speech was, of course, Brendan Horan's speech. A very, very bizarre contribution. Brendan Horan is rapidly developing a reputation in this House, Mr Speaker, for being the Forrest Gump of New Zealand politics. The fellow that is always there when action and great deeds of moments of history are there, and he's always there to collect up spots of oil, to take photos on his iPad and to show them or attempt to demonstrate them to the House. So, Mr Speaker, what about the bill? Well, the bill amends the Exclusive Economic Zone and Continental Shelf Environmental Effect Act, and it will, of course, make provisions that are far stronger than we've seen in the past. It's a timely bill. It's a bill that is, I think, well endorsed by all sides of the House. And in particular, it's a bill that seeks to substantially increase the amount of compensation payable for incidents like the RENA. And that, I think, Mr Speaker, is a very good thing. And so, Mr Speaker, it's with great pleasure that I endorse and commend this bill to the House. I'm looking forward to participating in the Select Committee proceedings under the very capable chairmanship of David Bennett, and to hearing submissions on it and to bringing it back into the House once it's passed the Select Committee process.
A point of order.
Speaker, I thought he was supposed to be speaking
Order,
on the bill.
order. I'm on my feet. That is not a point of order. Now, well, I need to make myself heard. Members don't sit immediately. They're in dire risk of getting some further action against them. Now, the next call, I think, is a split call, is it? A point of order.
Thank you, Mr Speaker. I didn't want to interrupt either of the following speakers. I seek leave to table the sheet from the website of the International Maritime Organisation showing that the Bunker Oil Convention came into force on the 21st of November 2008.
Leave sought for that purpose. Is there anyone opposed to that course of action? There is none. Shall we table? Is this a split call? Yeah, split call, 5-minute call. No.